Hello, Brandon. How are you doing, mate?
Good, and yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Not too bad. How's the shoulder doing? Everything healing up, or is what's going on
Yeah,
with it?
yeah, we're getting there. I think the process is surgery in the next couple weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be a long surgery. It's a labrum surgery, so labrums are a pain in the ass to heal. I have a torn labrum, and I fractured like a few bones in my shoulder that like keep the shoulder from falling out of place. Like the shoulder's like a socket, and like I had it straight and knocked against it. So there's nothing like keeping my shoulder to like any resistance from it going in place besides like the labrum itself, and it's torn. So
Yeah,
it's looking like it's going to be a process of like healing it, and surgery is a result. So
yeah. And how long normally does that sort of take to recover from?
it'll be like a 6-month recovery. So it's not too long, but it is long enough to fucking suck, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. In fighting terms, it's
Yeah,
especially for you as well. That's 2 or 3 fights.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I feel like I've been popping them off like this last year. So it like missed opportunities, you know?
Yeah, of course. But we can't sit on that. You can look back at the year you've just had and think like, what an amazing year. Because I'm sure if I told you at the start of the year that you was going to have 3 UFC fights and be a ranked fighter, you wouldn't have believed me.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, that's exactly. I thought I was gonna have to go through the contender series and all that stuff. And luckily, I got a short call notice, and it all worked out. And it's been panning out really well. I've had all these big opportunities, and with the exception of when my shoulder popped out, I've been flying through them. And it's been like, I don't know, surprising and like just such a great year. You know, so grateful for all these little things. You know.
Obviously, you've been fighting top caliber competition. Like, what's it been like for you going into the fights, knowing that you're fighting these people that have been in the UFC for however long and had this experience? Is it sort of a case of like
Yeah.
you're not really sure what's going to happen?
Yeah, a little bit of all that, and like I think with especially the first fight is like you don't know if you belong in the UFC. I'm like talking all this shit in my head, and I'm like, oh, I deserve to be in the UFC, all this stuff, and then like my head, I'm like, well, do I, man? What if I go there and just get my ass whooped? Like, what if I go there and get punked by everybody and just get in the UFC and get kicked right out? So it's nice to see that like I'm matching up. I have a chance to match up against the best in the world, the top 10, and I'm passing it, and I feel comfortable in there, man. Even though Brandon Moreno won that fight or whatever it is, and I felt really comfortable against him, and I wasn't like intimidated by like his ranking or any of that stuff. And I know that it's like a quick turnaround, but I felt like I was a little more comfortable in the cage, and I don't know, I felt good in there, man, up until what happened, you know. So it's like I don't know. It's like I feel like I grew a lot as a fighter this year, and I've had to like I'm going against the best in the world, and you have to kind of sink or swim. And I'm glad that I'm able to kind of show that I belong here. And I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a little surprising in yourself too, because like like I said, you say that and like you don't know, man. Like well, you know, it's just good to be here, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, going back before your UFC debut, your last fight in LFA was for the title, and you actually finished your fight in 23 seconds by armbar. So, what was sort of the mood after that? Was you expecting the UFC call sooner than later, or?
Yeah, well, I thought the fight was like if you saw the fight, it was the craziest like 23 seconds because
Yeah,
like me and him kind of got into it at the weigh-ins, and so like he took off running at me, so I was like, if he's running at me, I'm running right at him, and it kind of like we met each other in the middle, and I landed a knee, and it just was pure chaos from there. And I don't know, I knew that I wasn't gonna have to defend the LFA title because I knew it was like Dana White's Contender Series or the UFC right after that, because it was just so crazy of a fight, and I thought it was like such a good it was a good performance, man. I didn't get touched. It was 23 seconds, and I think I showed like a full arsenal of what I have in my repertoire. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that had to look good. Like I'm not sure if it's gonna be like if I'm gonna get called straight up to UFC, but I'm like, that was a good showcase for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't think the guy that I was going against was a skilled opponent, but when you're not going against the best of skilled opponents, you have to go out there and demolish them. And that, like, if you go out there and beat someone in 20 seconds, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about all that stuff. Dropped him and then submitted him. You know, I beat him everywhere in my head. You know, so I knew it looked good, and I know that like flyweights need to be exciting, and I know that like in order for me to like, dude, I need to finish these fights, and I need to go make statements and just kind of prove that I'm an exciting fighter and I can hang with the top fighters and all that stuff. And I felt like I was doing that the whole entire time during my LFA career. And I thought that was a nice little feather on top of my cap to finish off LFA.
Yeah, definitely. It was.
And then I set like all the LFA records, which was like the really coolest things. Like I set like all the little LFA records, which is like I'm sure it's probably broke by now, but at the time it was cool.
Yeah, it's definitely nice for that to be in the history books as well. For, like you said, have all the records there.
Forever, how long it is, you know.
Yeah. But obviously, going back to your fight with Brandon Moreno, obviously when the shoulder injury happened, what can you like pinpoint the time when it happened? If you
No,
watch it
I
back?
can't. I think what happened really is like I went back and watched it and just kind of seen it looked like really stress intense, like really like in the middle of like some of the exchanges. It looked like it was like really tight. So like you can see like a little bit like flaring up early on to the fight. But I think what finally did is I went to go like I was going for his leg and I went to go elbow him and I think I might have missed or whatever. But then I went to go collect the leg that I wasn't attacking. I went to grab like the other leg. And I reached across. That's when it was out. So you could like hear me like I was reaching across and I screamed like ah, and then like which is like selling your cards. But like I don't know, I like your shoulder pops out of place and just kind of like I don't know. I didn't like I didn't want to like if I could play it back I wouldn't have screamed because I could have popped it back in the second round and came back out and fought. But like in your head you're like what the fuck just happened? You know, like my shoulder like and I look at my shoulder and I'm like holy shit. So I was trying to pop back in place while he was going to work. So. I don't know, man. Like I think it went out like when I went for the elbow or when I was reaching across. But I think somewhere in between of me like throwing the elbow and missing and then coming back to grab it is like where it came out. Because yeah, I don't know. There's like a vivid point like right at that point where I scream and I'm like ah, and then I fall over and then I start getting my ass whooped.
And do you think the referee stopped it because he saw that you was injured and in pain, or do you think it was because of the punches? Because obviously there was only I think a second left of the round.
Yeah, I don't think he would have stopped it off just the punches. I think that there was like a clear moment of like, oh shit, something happened. Like, and I think we all hit it. Like I screamed and like I went backwards. Brandon Moreno like looked up at the ref and he's like, should I keep going? And he's like a quick look up and he's like, okay, I gotta go. And I think I don't know what the ref was doing at the time, but I think at that point he realized like I was like something's wrong, something's not in the ordinary and all that. So I think that was like a little bit of me like screaming. If I didn't say anything and I just fell backwards, it would have just looked weird. Like, why the fuck would you give up that position, you know, or like whatever. But like the fact that I screamed like sold my cards and kind of fucked me for the next round, which is like, I don't know, like the best champion's the best kind of actor. You know what I'm saying? You see Henry Cejudo get the calf kicked and then act like he could still walk and all that stuff. And he sold his car. He didn't sell his cards right off the bat. And I fucked up there. And yeah, so if anything ever happens, if I break my leg or some shit, I'm just gonna try to, you know, play it off better.
I think though with them two like situations, your one's very difficult because with like that, it's instant pain, isn't it? You don't feel no, it's just instant pain.
Yeah, it was like instant tingling and like just immediately knowing something's like off. I was like, uh-oh, like that just breaks. Like I just knew something was off. You know what I'm saying? And like something wasn't in the right place. So that like immediately took precedent of like, all right, I got to pop my shoulder back in place. And I've had two shoulder surgeries on my left shoulder, not my right. And so when my right popped out, you can even see in like the video, it looks like I'm grabbing my wrist and like, it looks like my wrist is in pain, but like you can see I'm trying to pop my shoulder back in. And like you can see I'm like doing the same thing that my coach did is like I extend it and like push it away to try to pop it back in. And yeah, but at that point I was already getting swung on and it probably looked bad, but like at like the end of the day, like that's what took precedent is like, oh, I was on top in a good position. Like the rational, like if I could like think about it now, is I'd try to stay on top as much as possible, but I'd stay calm because he wouldn't know what the fuck was going on if I didn't stay calm. But like as soon as my shoulder popped out of place, immediately like precedent is like, I got to get that shit right back in place, you know, and like screw the punches to my face, whatever it is. I was trying to make it miss, but like it wasn't like the priority at the time. The priority at the time was like, holy fuck, something's wrong with my arm, you know?
Yeah. And like you said, you've done that before, and like I spoke to your coach Mark Montoya, and he was saying that he's done it before as well. He's popped shoulders back in, like and stuff like that.
He's really good with my left shoulder. He'd pop it back in place all the time before I got surgery on my left shoulder.
Okay, yeah, it's probably you then.
yeah, exactly. And Chris Camozzi, I've seen him pop Chris Camozzi's in, so he has that like little method down. Isn't it funny? There's a doctor right there on site, and the doctor like looks like panicked, like not knowing what to do, and Mark like pushed him out of the way in order to pop my shoulder back in place.
I know. I think I see a meme about it where like someone put the words by the doctor saying, "I'm going to charge you this much for this," and then obviously Mark's just like, "Bang."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That is a difference between me going to the hospital and not. Right there, really is. And like honestly, and like if I would have kept my shit cool, if I would have acted cool and calm about it, that's the difference between me finishing the fight second and third round. You know what I'm saying? Or going out there and finishing a fight. And like obviously in like retrospect, I'm always gonna try to like play towards my side, and like that's the difference between me winning and losing that fight. I don't think I would score the first round for Moreno for sure, but before that takedown, he got that hook, and I thought I was winning the exchanges on the feet and stuff, and he got like a quick takedown on me. I got right back up, and I just felt like I was winning the exchanges on the feet, and who knows if I could, like in my perspective, I think I was going to win no matter what, like obviously as a fighter, but like, you know, maybe I would have got my ass whooped second round, who knows. But like that being said, is I would have went to the second round having a good cornerman that knows how to stay calm and has been experienced and has that kind of priceless experience like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously going back to the corner and coming back out would have been the best thing you could do. But like you said, you gave it away. But with fighting, the perfect example is your fight against Kai Kara France. Anything can happen. He can hit you, drop you, and then you're going to spin around, do a spinning elbow. That could have been the same situation. In this fight, Moreno could have dominated the first round, and you could have took over everything. Never know with fighting, do you?
Exactly. And like, I don't know, like whatever happens for a reason, and it had to happen that way, and that's where the cards lay. It sucks that it does, but I don't know. I could have popped out in a championship fight or something. So there's a chance for me to get better. I feel like my career is getting fast tracked anyway, so maybe pump the brakes a little bit, and then kind of earn my way back to like a title shot and that number one contendership and stuff once I heal up and get my shoulder right.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to take a break when you've been rushed like you have. But obviously, if you won that fight, do you feel like you would have got the title shot straight away?
Yeah, for sure. Now looking back, for sure, I would have got the title fight because I think they were just looking for a quick turnaround for the 19th, and I think, I think I for sure would have got that title fight, and that would have been the craziest fucking year ever if I would have got a title shot. In that year span, you know what I'm saying, or like a year and a month between winning the LFA title and fighting for the UFC title. But it was already a crazy year within itself, you know, to even be fighting the number one contender, being 6 months into the UFC, you know. So I'm glad. I'm kind of like, it sucks, but like my brakes got pumped a little bit, and for whatever reason I got hurt, and I'm gonna need to take this time off. And I don't know, maybe I can change something. I don't know. We'll see. There's lessons to be learned, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Come back with like a karate stance or some shit, taekwondo.
So did you watch the Figueiredo Moreno fight?
Yeah, what an amazing fight, huh?
Yeah, it was an amazing fight. So what did you think of both men's performances? Like, first of all, who did you think won it?
I scored it the way it was. I scored it actually as a draw too. But I don't know. You could have easily scored it for Moreno, depending on how you scored that second round, or whatever the other controversial round was. But I don't know. I was excited to see how it kind of played out. But I knew the best outcome for Deiveson was a draw. So I was seeing it kind of play out that way, and it did. So that was cool. It was just a great fight the whole entire time, though. Brandon Moreno, I think Brandon Moreno just does such a great job at, like, except for the fifth round, he laid off the gas, but he knows how to win a fight. You know what I'm saying? He does a really good job at maybe his punches weren't like the crispest or whatever. Like he would kind of like what that guy said last week, like pitching softballs a little bit. He's throwing a little more round punches and like a little more sloppy, but he'd throw like 10 punches. He'd throw good combos, and he did what he had to do to win these exchanges and stuff. And I thought that was a great job, man. And I like that about him, is he just stays really smart, and he knows how to win a fight, and he does what he has to do to win and like dig deep and stuff. And maybe Figgy might have been the more skilled. I don't know if that's true or not, honestly. But that being said, is like Brandon Moreno looked really good. And another cool thing is like Figgy looked super beatable too. Is like Brandon Moreno showed that like Figgy's super beatable, which I kind of thought, but I feel like the media has been hyping him up majorly. But like you guys can see, like he might not win a rematch, honestly. Like who knows? Brandon Moreno's young and he's hungry, and we'll see. Like, I'm excited to watch it and see how that plays out. And another thing that does that's really cool for me is it puts that division on hold too. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I was like, I get a hill up, but in the meantime, they fight in 4 months, whatever it is. It kind of puts that division on hold, and maybe I can fight the loser of that fight, or I don't know, just try to finesse my way to the top as quickly as possible, of course.
Yeah, It definitely does. It sort of makes it so when you come back, you're going to come back where you sort of left off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
good.
hopefully.
Yeah. So, how would you feel like a fight between you and Figgy would have gone if you did get that chance? Obviously,
I would put an ass whooping on Figgy. No, I'm just kidding.
I,
I think I'd put him. I think I'd piece Figgy up, man. I think he's slow. I think I have a big reach advantage. I think he's 5'5" or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? I think I could pick him apart from the outside. I think he'd just be swinging and missing in air. Honestly, I think he looks super beatable. I think Cody Garbrandt beats the shit out of him too. Honestly, now that like you can kind of see that fight play out, and I don't know. I think I match up really well against him. I like the matchup completely. I like the matchup with all the top guys in the division. Really, there's some good people in the division. I like to see how Man Cape, whoever he matches up against first, because he's fucking sweet, and I'm so excited to have him as a flyweight in our division too. But I don't know, man. I feel like I match up like we don't have any boring flyweights. I match up badly against a dude who's trying to do nothing and fight and like wrestle me and hold position and not strike or whatever it is. That's not the flyweight division. We have the flyweight division is full of like firefighters who are trying to murder. There's fighters that are like 16-2 in the flyweight division, and the UFC is not going to sign them because they're boring as fuck. They don't want that. So the flyweight division like needed revamping, and the revamping is just bringing a bunch of exciting fighters. And I think anybody that's trying to murder me is going to match up well against me in comparison to someone that's trying to stall out time and all that. So I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited how I match up with everybody in the top of the division right now.
yeah, definitely. Because like when you look at back again to the Kai Kara France fight, that's just like both of you were trying to take each other heads off, and that was an amazing fight.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I said, it's just we're gonna have to have like the flyweights. We almost got our job cut. So like I don't know, man. You're gonna have to have these badass fighters that are just going in there trying to murder each other to go revamp the flyweight division and kind of get hype and like get money behind our division, so we can all start like actually having future and all that stuff. So it's pretty exciting. I'm excited to be a flyweight in the UFC at this time right now too, man.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I credit like for the people that brought the division back, sort of thing. I credit like Henry Cejudo, obviously Figgy, and you're a big one for me because well, from the first moment I saw you, I was like, this guy can't be a flyweight. He's too exciting. But then I looked, and then you're literally just like constant attacking, constant wherever you are, you're always attacking, whatever position you're in. I love it.
Yeah, I think as far as like MMA goes, man, I think like I'm super scared when I'm not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're exchanging, whatever, it is what it is. I don't have time to think. When we're not exchanging and I'm looking at someone from a distance, that's when it's like, oh fuck, I need to like this shit needs to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's like a little bit of like like I get a little bit afraid not to like be moving or doing something or being on the go or like doing something with like any meaning or move, like, you know what I'm saying? So like I get like super panicky when that doesn't happen. So it leads to exciting fights. It leads to finishes, which is super important for me because I want to get the fuck out of the cage as soon as possible. But yeah, I guess more importantly, it's exciting fights, you know what I'm saying? But and it relieves my anxiety more than anything. It's like, all right, I'm moving, I'm doing something, you know, at least I'm making this asshole work.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely fun to watch, and it's definitely in some ways it's a better way of fighting as well, because if you're sat there always waiting for an opening or something,
Yeah.
you can get caught out in your own game sort of thing. But the way you fight, you make opportunities happen, you make openings happen. So like it's not you're not waiting about for nothing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. And Mick Maynard, who's like the flyweight matchmaker, like the matchmaker of our division, he's done a great job of who he signed. And like, I thought it was like me and Kai Car France got the Coco main event on that card. That was like so fucking cool, man. Like I don't know, my followers went up so high like right after that fight. Just because like our position, man, and like I said, I really do think they're trying to bring a little bit of the flyweight division back and the excitement with that, and build our division up a little bit. So I don't know. It'd honestly be a good thing if Figgy probably retains the title for the next fight, and just we have like a consistent champ and stuff to kind of build up and build around and all that, and it'll be perfect. So when I come back, I can just beat a champ with a resume and all that. And no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would be better though.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'd be better for me too, is if I do fight a champ with like a resume and all that. It'll look better if I win and all that. Then like an all around for the division, I think it's all better too. And you know, it's really good for the division if Cody comes back and gets his ass whooped too. That'd be a good thing. Division probably.
Yeah, people would look at it differently then. Like the fact that if Cody came down and got beat up, then it would be like maybe they're not just little guys.
Yeah, and that's like to respect to Cody, right? It's because he's so good. He comes down and gets his ass whipped right off the bat. Then people are like, "Oh, these little fuckers are not to be messed with." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that'd be cool, man. And like I said, just excitement all around that is just because Mick Maynard is only bringing exciting fighters right now. So it's pretty fucking dope too.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely hotting up in that division.
Yeah.
So training at Factory X, obviously you've been there quite a while. I think you've been there since maybe 15, is it?
So I trained Mark when I was like 16. I started training when I was 16 years old, and then he started his own gym, and I stood at this hole in the wall gym that we were at for like another year, and then they closed, and I jumped over with Mark. So yeah, pretty much 16, but it wasn't at Factory X where I was with them originally. It was at a different gym. Yeah.
But how do you find like everything to do with like Mark Montoya's sort of I don't want to say mentality, but because he uses the word culture, obviously, which is a great word for it because that's sort of the thing you build.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I think I'm super weird like being in there because I'm the only one that's like accustomed to it. And we have all these dudes coming from like different gyms and stuff. And they're like, wow, I've never had a gym like this. And it's like, oh really? Like, oh well, I guess I grew up like I've never had a bad trainer, man. It's like the really coolest part. It's like I really have just nothing but like fire coaches my whole entire career. And I watched guys like when I was coming up, like learn triangles in the back room right before they're about to fight. And it's like I was like, what the fuck? You're working on that now? Like, it's a bad time, you know? Like, and I just had these great coaches to be around and mold. But like that mentality, I grew up in that mentality of just like, all right, we're all outworking each other. It's all competition. And like we're family at the end of the day too. It's like we all hang out. And I think we look for like, Mark doesn't allow people to be in our gym that don't gel well. You have to have like a tryout to see if you can hang out with the team and be cool with the team. And usually like spending time and like if you're like moving from a different state, you're usually living with one of our teammates. So it's kind of like you're going to gel right away or you don't. And if you don't, you're not allowed to really be a part of our team. And because we're not like that's another weird part about Factory X. Like we're an actual team. Like I don't know how all these other gyms work. Like some gyms are like, oh, we'll work here a couple of days. I'll go work at this gym for another day or whatever it is. And they'll all come together like maybe for a practice or two. But like for us, I do all my practices with the same exact fucking teammates as always, you know, and it's a team of 40. We're doing 3 practices together a day, you know what I'm saying? And like it's a team. Like so I've never known anything different. So it's like weird to me when someone comes in from like a different mentality and like, well, I've never seen so many training partners in one place. And it's like, oh, really? You guys don't all show up at 5 o'clock? Like that's weird. And like I've never really gotten in trouble because it's like always been so ingrained into me. But it's like if you don't show up we're such a team. Like you don't show up on time at this time for every goddamn practice, then you're off the team, or you're in trouble, or you're like coaches on your ass. You know what I'm saying? So like, like if you're a Factory X fighter, you're making three practices a day, 5 days a week. You know, so that's just like an automatic heads up. And like I don't ever realize it because I just assume every other goddamn team in the world's doing that. And I never really realized that. Like, oh, none of these guys are really working. They're working like 4 days a week and like an hour a day, whatever it is, you know, and like they're sparring the whole entire time without like drilling stuff and all this stuff. And I just had it lucky, man. I feel like super blessed. Like I just really lucked out there. And like people are like, I have like people that don't know MMA are just like, they'll come up to me like, oh, like, are you planning on leaving Colorado, go train somewhere else? I have it good here, man. Like this is the best place to be. And like I'm in Colorado, which is like a high altitude for the best training and all that. And it's like I just lucked out and found the right spot right off the bat. And it's just perfect. I got to grow with the gym, you know, which is even better. Is I've watched one person in the UFC on our roster, no person on the roster in the UFC with our gym, to fucking 30 people on the roster in the UFC, you know? So it's been cool to kind of watch it change day by day and like even be part of that growth. Is like there's a time when we didn't have any little guys and me and one other guy were crushing our division, and we got to bring a bunch of little guys from other gyms that like we're just like, hey, we want to go train with you guys, you know? So we just kind of even build up with them, you know? So it's been great, man. And being a part of that and watching even Coach Mark's growth in the sport is so crazy, man.
Yeah, definitely, because he's come a long way as well, and like what he's built for you guys is amazing.
Yeah, and you got to think MMA is such a young sport, how much he has to grow on a yearly basis of like evolution, changing this, changing that, and all that. So he has to grow with the sport because it's so young and it's changing constantly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really do like Mark as a coach. He's good.
Yeah. Super disciplined, great. He's like a well-read guy, so he has like great quotes all the time. So it's awesome. It really is, man. And I feel like maybe I get the weird end of it just because I'm so used to it that it's like nothing new to me, and like it's like I'm too spoiled almost, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be weird for you to go into a different gym because you'd be like,
Yeah, it's like funny even hearing stories. I'm like, how the fuck do you guys even get that good doing something like that? Like some of these guys just have like raw talent. They come to our gym and now they're like disciplined. They're learning all this and they're like around a bunch of other savages that train as much as they do. So it's not like they're like, I'm the only one that trains as hard at this gym. It's like, well, welcome to our gym where you're just an average Joe motherfucker.
like, yeah. So what was it that actually got you into fighting in MMA?
So I was like always like a boxing fan. Like I was a huge boxing fan when I was younger, and maybe like Chuck, like I don't know, I would like interested like Chuck Liddell and like people who would like just strike and stuff. So I would like be super interested in the striking portion of it, and then like just fast forward it through when I hit the ground, and like I don't know, still in the same thing as like the boxing mentality is like if you kicked you're like a sissy and stuff. So I kind of grew up watching like MMA when it came back around, like when UFC came around. Like I wasn't watching obviously when Hoist Gracie and stuff, but like when the UFC came right back around and like started getting popular again, I was like along with that whole entire ride. And so I got like I also got to grow with that sport too, man. It's just like I hated fucking anything that wasn't stand up with it. And then I realized I'm like, oh, I watched my brother every day, and that's really what it was. And he started choking me and like started putting me in submissions and stuff when we'd box. And it's like, all right, this motherfucker is like learning all these moves and stuff. So like I had to adapt and overcome. And so then I'd watch like all the ground portion, and then we learned from the ground. So like I always feel like I got my first white stripe on my belt from like the announcers, or not the announcers, but like what is it, the analysts or whatever,
The commentators, yeah.
Yeah, the commentators. Yeah, I always felt like I got like my first couple of stripes on my white belt from the commentators, just explaining the position and all that stuff, you know. And I don't know. So I got to grow, and then I had a brother that was like 2 years older than me that was just like obsessed with the sport too. So I just had someone to grow with at home and stuff. So we'd box every day. We'd sucker people to come to our house and box us and all that stuff, and like train with us. And yeah, so we're just pretty much training every day. And there's a gym right up the street from us. So we're like, all right, well, I started going there. And he always thought like learning, like paying to learn how to fight was like lame. So he never actually came to MMA with me, but I always teach him the moves right afterwards and stuff. So yeah, it just kind of like grew up to an obsession and stuff. So it was like a cool time. So I got to grow up the sport and all that stuff, which is great, man.
Yeah. And obviously your nickname as well is the same as Darren Till's, Raw Dog. Well, not the same as Darren Till's nickname, but the same as his brand.
Yeah, as his brand now, that son of a bitch. That's so funny. I made a beer out of it too. I'm like, damn, Darren Till just made everything better than I could have ever done.
Yeah, completely stole it from you.
I know. I really want to know what the evolution what the timeline of like when I started my UFC debut and him starting to use that Raw Dog name and all that, because it had to be like neck and neck, like pretty close onto it. And like I don't know if if it has anything to do with each other or anything. I'm sure it's something he came up with also, but it's really shitty timing for me to get into the UFC and then him to start using the Raw Dog name for me. Fuck, man.
I think he got it from when he was talking about Mike Perry all the time.
Yeah. He was like saying he Raw Dogged Mike Perry's girlfriend or something. Yeah. Fuck.
I know.
He made that well. Isn't that hilarious? He made a whole goddamn brand off that.
I know.
Shit to Mike Perry's girlfriend or whatever.
I know. The fact that he can do that in this is crazy. He's made a whole brand. He's made so much money off it from saying he's going to do something to someone else's bird.
I've been Raw Dog since like 2013 or some shit. And I was like, dang, if I ever make the UFC, like I never wanted a nickname until it was Raw Dog. And then I was like, all right, I'm sticking with that. And and then like the moment I get into the UFC, someone fucking made a whole goddamn brand off of it. I was like, damn, that's horrible timing.
Yeah. How did you get the name then?
I think some dude in the crowd was like drunk one time yelling like, Raw Dog him, Brandon Raw Dog him and stuff. And it kind of like switched to that thing. And it was like Brandon Raw Dog Royval. And then we joke around with it. It's like when I was an amateur, it was like we joke around with it and stuff. And finally when I was a pro, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start using it, see if they announce it on TV and stuff. So Yeah, they started doing that, and I was like, as soon as you have like your name set on TV once under Raw Dog, it'll never go away. So I remember like there's a point in my time like where I was like going up, like starting to like kind of get to the UFC level, and my manager's like, hey, you need to drop that nickname. And I was like, all right, cool. And the announcer would refuse to drop it. Like the announcer would like add it in everywhere. Like anyways, I tell him not to do it, and he'd still be like, Brandon, Raw Dog, Royval. He would lay into it, and I was like that name's not going anywhere. I'm sorry. So yeah, I tried to drop it before. Like probably like a couple years before I got into the UFC, I was like, all right, well, I should probably stop using this so I can fucking build a different brand. You know what I'm saying? And we got a goddamn niece out here, you know, so I can't have that. Yeah. So I try to drop it for a little bit, but it's impossible to drop that name now. So
yeah, definitely now as well, because you've had Bruce Buffer saying it.
Yeah, right. He leaned into it too. It was great.
Yeah, yeah, he did do it good. So I just got a few questions from Instagram now. Just from people from Instagram, sorry. One person asked, why do you wear ankle weights when you like before your fight?
Oh, I like that question. I do it all the time. I have the same goddamn ankle weights too. I do it for every fight as long as I've been training. I hurt my shoulder when I was younger. When I was like 16, I hurt my shoulder, and I told you I used to think I didn't get into this, but I told you I used to think kickboxing were like for fairies. You know, I was like, if you use your legs, you're like lame. Like that was like my mentality when I was younger because I was so into boxing, and I hurt my shoulder and I couldn't just box. So I'd go to the MMA gym and just box the whole entire time. I wouldn't throw any kicks at all. And like if someone threw a kick, I would just throw harder punches, you know? This is like a dumb 16-year-old me, by the way. Like dumb 16-year-old me, pop my shoulder out of place. And then I have to learn how to kick. I'm like, all right, well, now I got to learn how to kick. And I learned how to kick. And then I start using ankle weights. And I was like, anytime I ever like use the ankle weights, I'd noticeably kick harder, faster right after I took them off, of course. Like just like a pitcher does, or like anybody like uses like a weighted thing. So I always do it right before fights and just kick a bunch with the fight. And I always just feel like my legs snap off better for like, I don't know, the next day or so, you know, if I use it for a little bit. So I always use it a little bit before fights. And I feel like it helps my footwork. And even if it doesn't, it's just like a good state of mind by this time. Like I've been doing it really since I was like 18 years old. So at this point, I'm not getting rid of it until those goddamn ankle weights break, which is going to happen pretty goddamn soon. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense to when you put it in that way, like move quicker and everything because the weight's gone. Obviously.
Yeah, in my head, it's like it helps out, so I always stick with it. But too, it makes sense to me too. It was like I always like noticeably kick better, and like I always like credit it to like me starting to like kick really well as I started to use those ankle weights, and I'm like, oh okay, like now it's snapping off quicker and all that, and it was like a little shortcut to like throwing better kicks, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. And another question is like, what's your favorite technique to use like during a fight, either submission or striking, or both?
I like throwing uppercuts a lot. I'm super long for a flyweight, so if I can sneak a long uppercut in there. My favorite boxer is Oscar De La Hoya. He was the best at like that little shovel uppercut, that like jab uppercut. And I don't know, man. I was like, I'm super into like trying to use that as much as possible. I don't hit as much as I should, but I'll definitely work on that a little bit more, especially now I have that fucking hurt shoulder. So give me something to do with my left one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And what about submission? What's your favorite submission?
Submission or triangle. If I can get a triangle, I mean, it's not my favorite submission, but like if I can get it, like as soon as I lock up my legs, I already know like it's over. It's one of my like better positions, I guess. So anytime I secure a triangle on the ground, I'm like, yes, this is money.
Yeah. And who's your favorite fighter to watch?
My favorite fighter to watch, I always say Nick Diaz, but Nick Diaz has been retired for so long. As far as right now, man, I'm a huge Israel Adesanya fan, man. Izzy's so good. He does so many, like, I don't know, tricky stuff that I could learn from him all day just watching his fights. And yeah, he's just a cool person to like, I don't know, try to copy and all that stuff. So as of right now, Izzy's probably one of my favorites. Calvin Kattar, man, I could watch him fight all day too. Calvin Kattar, I don't even want to. God damn, that Max Holloway fight. Him and Max Holloway, you don't even want to root for either one of, like, you don't want to root against either one of them kind of thing. But Calvin Kattar is another one that I would love to watch like all day if I could. Corey Sandhagen, I'd watch that kid fight all day if I could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my one's definitely Calvin Kattar as well, because like I see a clip of that elbow he caught Jeremy Stevens with. Yeah. Oh, right on the chin, like there, literally. Stepping elbow.
He's stepping into the punch, slipping it at the same time, and then land that. Like, that's perfect, man. That like, I think most people are like, okay, I made him slip, but he threw at the same exact time and made Jeremy pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you could fight anyone, past or present, who would you fight?
Past or present? I would fight Figgy right now, I guess. I think that's probably the only thing I would really want to fight as of like this moment right now. But past, present, I can't think of anyone I specifically want to fight. Yeah. That's a
What about Demetrius Johnson?
Oh, I would like to fight Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, that's a great one. Demetrius Johnson. I would like to. I like everything like throw back. Like I'd want to see I match up against Miguel Torres now, and like fighters like that too. Just because like those are who I grew up watching, and like those are the guys I liked when I was younger and stuff, and they're like the leaders of my weight class. So I would like to see how I match up today, like present day, like now compared to like then and all that stuff. Is like I don't know. I'd be interested in all that. So. But definitely just like any like the old champs too would be great. 35 or 25 would be awesome.
Yeah, that's all the questions I've got for you then, mate.
Thanks
for coming on and giving me your time.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Shout out to my sponsors, EAP Glass, and next time let's do it like 3 hours earlier, man. I'm sorry for the time adjustment. I'm sorry for keeping you up that late, but next time I'll do it like 3 hours earlier, man. I have
nice one.
Really nothing else better to do. All right, have a good day, brother.